best. I was the first runner-up, and I had to live with that. So the college letters came rolling in, and no offense to Derek, but Texas was a little too unique for me. Michigan was just too cold for me. And so that being said, the choice became pretty easy. I packed all my belongings from my Singapore bedroom, and I moved over to the Douglason dorm in the University of Virginia. Now, I had an absolute blast my first month at UVA. I was doing all sorts of crazy things, and some things I was pretty good at, if you look carefully. But the important thing here then, I did many things, but I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know what I was going to do at the University of Virginia. Now, things started to change. I took Psych 101, and that's where I met Mr. Sigmund Freud. And among many interesting things that he taught me, one particular theory stood out the most, the theory of introspection. That is the detaching of yourself from yourself and looking at your own behaviors and actions and psychoanalyzing them. And this is exactly what I did. I tried to find out exactly what makes me tick. And I realized some things did make me tick more than others. I enjoyed making other people happy. I enjoyed effecting a positive change on the people around me. And I carried on this process of psychoanalysis. And I realized maybe this was a psychological defense against what I lacked in my upbringing. A sort of overcompensation. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, here's a picture of my family. The four of us, all happy, loving, caring. This is what it looks like to the outside eye. But what it really was, living in my family, was like being permanently on an awkward first date. And I wanted no one to ever have this feeling. This is going to sound really cheesy, but I wanted the world to feel loved. I wanted to make the world a happier place. And I thought, what better way to do this than by reaching out to each and every single individual and effecting a positive change on them. I wanted to be a clinical psychologist. Now let's fast forward this a little bit. And I had my first ever Thanksgiving break in the US. Actually, my first ever Thanksgiving break period. And me and a couple of friends, we ventured up north to the fabled city of New York. And once there, I experienced something that I never experienced before. I was there. I was in New York City. I was where Godzilla stomped the grounds. I was where the Statue of Liberty came swimming by. I was where Optimus Prime took 5 minutes to transform from a trailer into a big blue and red robot. I was there, and I felt really, really excited. And as I walked down Wall Street, and I bumped into the infamous Wall Street Bull, glancing upward on Broadway. It just felt too surreal. And this surge of inspiration hit me. It hit me really hard. And I decided that I needed to be there. I wanted to be there. I wanted to be in New York City. I wanted to be on Wall Street, where I believe the world revolved around, where I believe the financial world revolved around at the very least, where I believe I could exert the most leverage, that crucial point in a lever that could move mountains. And with this newfound conviction and determination, I worked really, really hard. I started working really hard. I started waking up between 7 and 8 a.m. every day to make more use of the daylight. I started sleeping between 1 and 2 a.m. every night to make more use of the nightlight. This hard work, coupled with the right combination of mentors, the environment, and the people around me, and not to mention the sheer luck of the draw, led to a very fateful phone call on February 9th, 2008. With that phone call, 4 months later, I made it. I had accomplished my dream. I didn't just make it to Wall Street, I made it to the street Wall Street. And as I rode up the elevator of 60th Wall Street and overlooked the top of Manhattan, something inside me clicked. And it was different. I was where the best back home would want to be. I was where the best in America would want to be. At least the best in my view. And this spurred me on. I realized I had it in me to do more. I realized I could do more, and I wanted to do more. Great things have been done by great people. And working on Wall Street, I came to realize that I was good at certain things. I was good at this stuff. And everything seemed really nice and rosy. I would just continue sailing upon this path, and all the pieces of the puzzle would fall into play. But as you know, accidents happen. not every ship sails straight. Accidents happen, such as the Dow dropping 900 points in a single day. And my firm found it prudent to take up to 2 months to relay information about returning offers. Now, these 2 months proved to be the most trying time of my life. It was heart-wrenching and heartbreaking, but most importantly, it taught me something. It taught me that I should never assume things for what they are. I should never take things for granted. There's always more that I could be working on. There's always more that should be done, and I should be doing it. Now, this fairy tale has a happy ending, fortunately for me. Come graduation this year, I will be making it back onto Wall Street, albeit not in a literal sense. And that dream will continue to be accomplished. That dream still lives. Now, as I stand here, and I give what possibly might be my last presentation in the McIntyre School that I believe has shaped me very greatly as a person, I'm reminded of Randy Pausch and his last lecture. Now, for those of you who have seen his last lecture, and for those of you who haven't seen his last lecture, which I strongly advise you all to do, he coins this term called the head fake. And that occurs when someone learns a deeper truth upon the pretense of learning something simple. Now, before I begin ripping pages from Randy's book here, let's first go through what I talked about today and some of the lessons that I want to share. First, never admit to be second best, or as I prefer to call it right now, the first loser. Dreams do come true, and they can come true. Depends on your hard work, and depends on luck. There's always more that can be done, and you should be doing it. And we should always be looking for those light switches that will remind us, that would serve as moments of inspiration, moments of realization that would spur us forward. But have you figured out the head fake? The clinical psychologist's dream that started it all still lives on. As I stand here preaching to all of you, preaching that the way to achieve your dreams is by understanding yourself. Because how else would you know what you really want to do? How else would you know to accomplish that dream if you haven't had that dream yet? But have you figured out the second head fake? This presentation really isn't for all of you guys. This presentation isn't for Com464. This presentation is for myself. Thank you.